Hey everybody, this is Vic Moss with Moss Photography as well as Drone Service Providers Alliance, and we at DSPA have decided to try a new segment. What we're going to do is either when the mood strikes us or when the muse strikes us, either way, or if somebody comes up with some other content or has an idea they'd like us to try, we're going to do little 5 to 10 minute tutorials, tips, tricks, things like that, whether it's photography, videography, business, drones, safety, regulation, whatever. Just kind of really quick little tutorial. And so the first one we're going to do, and it's titled Let Me Show You Something. That's the working title anyway. We'll see if we stick with that or not. I want to show you a little bit about Photoshop AI. As a photographer, I obviously use Photoshop quite a bit. And more we're starting to see some of the AI stuff move in with the beta version of Photoshop AI. And it works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes. And so I had a project that I was working on. Not a spectacular photograph, but you know, here in Colorado, we have to shoot when we have to shoot. It's a placeholder for now until next spring when we can go back and reshoot it. But it had a really horrendous shadow in the grass, on the brick wall, and things like that. And they're kind of tough to work with. You can obviously just take other parts of the brick and put it in and that kind of stuff, but it's very time consuming to make it look good. So I figured I'd give AI a try. I did it a couple different ways. Tried to do the whole thing at once, the grass, the sidewalk, the yellow brick, the red brick, all that stuff in one big fell swoop, and it didn't work so well. So then I did a few other little things, so a couple tricks, and then I had smaller bites, and so hopefully that will help you kind of get an idea about what AI is capable of at this point in time. I'm sure it'll get better with each and every iteration. It seems like it updates about once a week. But anyway, so here is what I did, and so here, let me show you something. And here we are with my shot. Nothing spectacular about the shot, but I'm using AI here, and I'm going to circle the entire shadow. Just kind of select it all, then go up here and go ahead and choose that, and just hit. I'm going to give it a prompt in this particular instance. Remove shadow. So let's give it a shot, see what it does, and kind of go from there. I did speed it up, so it's not going to be that fast, but it gives you 3 options. Checking those out. Not in love with any of those at all. So what you want to do is you go ahead and go into your layers palette, and you can turn that on and off. You can see that it's really messing up the joint where the two different, or the transition, I should say, where the two different types of brick meet. So try it again. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's see. And yeah, again, it's better, but it's still not great. So pick the one that looks the best, and go ahead and turn that layer on and off again then, and see if it's going to work for you. It's not. It really isn't. I mean, it's close, but it's still moving where the light brick and the red brick come together, and also it's putting a big old green thing in there, a bunch of that kind of stuff. I don't want all that stuff there. So first thing I'm going to do, just to make life easier, it's very, very easy to go ahead and get your brush and get rid of all of that shadow anyway, which is what I was going to do before I decided to try this. And so I just grab similar looking stuff, similar looking landscaping, and go ahead and do that. Obviously terrible landscaping. And then I went ahead and where there's a transition from the brick to the sidewalk, and then also from the light brick to the red brick, I went ahead and cleaned up that transition myself. And it's not that hard to do using your stamp tool. And I'm going to go ahead and save it, and then open it back up again in Photoshop. Now I'm still bouncing back and forth between Photoshop AI and regular Photoshop for things like this. So I'm going to go ahead and then select the top part. I'm sorry, we're going to go ahead and try and see if I can clean up the top part with the brick, and it's just very, very difficult to do to get the bricks to match, no matter which side I really try it on. So it's not working extremely well. I mean, I could do it, but it would take an awful lot of work, and so I want to see if it'll work with the Photoshop AI. So open it back up, close it again in the regular Photoshop, open it back up in Photoshop AI. And if you notice, I've got 2 copies there. That way, if I screw one up, I have the original one to play with. So open up that one. And there it is in Photoshop AI. So I'm going to go ahead and select. I'll start here with the bottom one. And again, just kind of drawing around the edge, selecting the edge. That's with the select tool. Not super, super tight, but tight enough. Go ahead and see what it does here. I'm going to try and give it a prompt again. And then speed it up real quick. It does not work this fast. And here's my 3 options. And for some silly reason, it put a stick in the middle of all that. So these guys obviously aren't going to work. We'll look at the, just totally get rid of that layer right there because I know it's not going to work. So we're going to try something different now. So we're going to reselect everything. And I'm using a Wacom tablet, by the way, not a mouse. It's just so much easier. Okay, now I'm not going to give it a prompt. Let's see what it does. This is automatically, and it didn't do a bad job at all. We've got 3 different versions here. Third version had some weird artifact, so I'm not going to use that. Either one of those 2 works. So I picked that one. We're going to flatten it. So you can turn it on and off, see what it looks like. Make sure it looks good. So flatten it, and I'm going to do the upper brick. So go ahead and select that part. Doing it pretty quickly. And again, no prompt this time again. For some reason, I've figured out there, I've noticed that it, the prompt, if you don't give it a prompt, it works better in situations like this. Other times, if I tell it to get rid of stuff, it'll actually do really good things. So again, here's the 3 options. I've got 3 different brick patterns, basically. And that's the one I like. So there we go. There's the difference. So I'm going to get rid of the front one, or the top one there that I started out with. Now I'm going to do something else. And this would be pretty easy to do with just a brush, but I'm going to try and use AI to get rid of the wonderful landscaping stuff still there. Again, no prompt. Let's see what it says. Did a pretty good job. Same thing here. Get rid of the green stuff there. No prompt. Click go. And again, it's sped up because it does do pretty quick. And you can check all 3 of those. It always gives you 3 options, but I like that one, so I'll flatten it. Now I'm going to play with what I usually do, so I'm going to kind of brighten up a little bit, and then go ahead and paint out the middle again, just to kind of make the middle of the image a little brighter. Flatten that up. Now I'm going to add a sky, because the sky was ugly. I'm going to choose that sky. I'm going to do things like play with it, make it a little bit bigger, brighten it up a little bit, maybe cool it down a little bit, move it around a little bit till it looks like what I like. Play with color. Move it up a little bit. I like the cloud peeking out just a little bit above the building. Kind of gives a little bit of depth, a little bit of dimension. Like that. Now I'm going to flatten that. So I turn off the bottom layer, click one of the layers and just hit Command-Shift-E, turn it back on, and I like it. So there it is. But I think I want to go ahead and I'm going to bump saturation because I live in Colorado, got beautiful blue skies, might as well put them in the image, right? Turn it on and off. Looks good, looks good. Flatten it. Now I'm going to do something, my little vignette. I put a vignette on pretty much everything I put out. Probably left over from my darkroom days. And there we go. So there's the one and there's the second one. So overall, it worked really well. There we have at least my take a little bit on just a very small part of Photoshop AI, at least with the way it can fill in areas, especially things like brick walls and stuff like that. It's great for grass, great in the sky, that kind of stuff works tremendously. You always have those 3 little options, and you can pick which one's best, or give it another option and go with 6 options, whatever. But it gives you a little bit. It gives you an idea that maybe you can't do everything all at once. You might have to go in and use your brush tool or use your stamp tool and kind of clean up certain areas first before you give it the go with the AI part. But there you go. So our first episode of, as we say, working title right now is Let Me Show You Something. We'll see where it goes with that. But if you have an idea, if you're a DSPA member and would like to do something like this for us or with us, give me a shout below. Email is below as always, and let me know what you think. So enjoy, fly safe, have fun. Bye-bye.